How to read a knitting pattern. Hello and welcome to Video Jug. Our expert knitter Lucy Bennett is going to show you how to read a knitting pattern. Reading a knitting pattern may be unfamiliar at first, but as soon as you've cracked the code, you'll be able to follow instructions with confidence. Step 1. Size. The size of the finished item will be clearly stated. Sometimes it states the size after blocking, which means after you have washed the finished garment for the first time. Step 2. Gauge. Gauge is given as the number of stitches and rows on the recommended size needles over a 4-inch patch. It is a good idea to make a gauge before you start knitting your garment to ensure the size needles and the number of rows and stitches in the pattern will produce the size and shape garment you need. Step 3. Yarn. Most knitting patterns recommend the most appropriate yarn to use for the best results. It is important to buy the yarn specified. Another yarn, however similar, may not behave in the same way. Always buy enough yarn. It is a good idea to buy an extra ball, just in case. Step 4. Needles. Needle sizes vary and your pattern will tell you the best size needle to use, but should be treated as a guide only. Your knitted gauge will tell you if you need to use a different size needles to the one your pattern recommends. Step 5. Instructions. Instructions are set out as row by row written instructions. The letter P stands for purl, and the letter K for knit. So if your pattern says row 1, P5, K5, you should purl 5 stitches and then knit 5 stitches on your first row. To learn more about purl and knit stitches, see our videos, how to knit a purl stitch and how to stitch a knit stitch. Asterisks are used to tell you to repeat an instruction. For example, an asterisk followed by P1, K1 tells you to purl 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, and again purl 1 stitch and knit 1 stitch. Sometimes brackets are used instead of asterisks. Instructions are also set out as charts. They will have corresponding key that tells you what each symbol in the chart means. These symbols differ from pattern to pattern. But don't worry, as nearly every knitting pattern will provide you with a glossary of symbols and abbreviations to help you read them easily. Done.